Hola clase. We have another verb conundrum similar to ser and estar. In English, we don't distinguish between the two kinds of knowing, but in Spanish they do. So both saber y conocer mean to know. Um, but they mean to know different things. So we're going to look at what they mean and how to conjugate them, and then um, we'll go from there. So notice that the first boxes are both yellow because they both have irregular yo forms. Say, we've already learned this one, for example, no sé, I don't know, or yo sé, I know all the information, or lo sé, I know it. You should recognize sé. Notice that it has an accent mark on it. And then conozco. It's funky because it has a ZCO instead of just a CO. Um, like all the rest of them have just a C. And that is, pardon me, to retain the pronunciation of that sound on the end. Because in Spanish, if you don't have the C followed by an E or an I, then it just says the K sound. And they wanted the Z sound to still be in there. If you notice, the Z sound is still in all of the other ones because of the fact that the C is then followed by an E. Anyhow, that is the least important part of our information. We want to know what's the difference between saber y conocer. With saber, you know information. So, you know your address, you know your phone number, you know someone's name, you know the lyrics to a song, you know if you have saber plus an infinitive, means you know how to do something. So, for example, yo sé tocar el piano, or tú sabes tocar el violín, or you know how to speak Spanish, sabes hablar español. And then saber sí means do you know if, well, it's not actually a question because it's not conjugated, but you know if something. So like, do you know if it's gonna rain tomorrow, or do you know if uh if today is Tuesday, or do you know if is always going to be saber. Conocer is to know people or to know places, like to be very familiar with a place. Um, we learned the personal last week. Remember when we learned about direct objects, and we learned that you have to put an in front of direct objects that are people. So, um, the same thing happens with conocer. Yo conozco a María. That's why that una persona is bolded. Um, but yo conozco a María, or yo conozco Boise muy bien. I know Boise very well. Yo no conozco Nampa muy bien. I don't know Nampa very well. Or sometimes it can be a thing like if you're trying to say, I know cars. Like I know how cars work. I know them like the back of my hand kind of thing. That's what to know when you talk about conocer is to like know someone or know something or know some place. It also can mean like have you been there when you're talking about places. So for example, yo conozco España. Yo conozco Honduras. Yo conozco los Estados Unidos. Yo conozco Canadá. So it means I've been to Canada, United States, Spain, Honduras, wherever. Or you can also say no conozco, whichever place. And those places can be not just countries or cities, they can also be like places like the museum or the library or whatever. Do you know it? Do you know where it is? Do you know how to get there? Do you know what it's like on the inside, etc.? That's the information that you're getting with conocer. With saber, it's just facts. facts, and then also one trick is if you ever see a blank, like if you're trying to fill in the blanks for saber or conocer, you ever see a blank followed by an infinitive or a C, it has to be saber, because conocer is never followed by infinitive or a C. Um, and if you want to, I think the simplest way to do it is conocer is people and places, and then everything else is pretty much saber. Just remember that like a museum or a library is the same, or is a place. It's not information. So, muy bien. I think that explains everything for now. Y hasta pronto, clase. Adiós.